Types of business analytics. There are three primary types of business analytics: descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. And you can think of these as a maturation of the analytics life cycle. So an organization will generally leverage descriptive analytics before predictive analytics, and an organization will leverage predictive analytics before prescriptive analytics. Now, what is descriptive analytics? Descriptive analytics is this first stage of analysis of data. So we have all this raw input data, but we can't necessarily make heads or tails of it, especially if we have hundreds of thousands or millions of rows of it. So the impact of business analytics is to consolidate, to aggregate, and to summarize this data for further analysis. Well, how can we do that? Well, we can do that by leveraging techniques that explain what has happened in the past. Now, that's an important component to remember, is this is work that has been done in the past because this is based on data that has occurred in the past. So we're summarizing what's already done. Now, this can include things such as reports. Executives often want reports and summaries of and trends that have occurred. Data mining techniques to aggregate different sources of data together or to deep dive into data. Descriptive statistics. What is our average sales? What is the minimum and maximum age of our customer? Data queries. So maybe we're integrating multiple data sources together to find more revolutionary insights. And data dashboards, especially visualizations, and these are often interactive. The second piece is predictive analytics. So the data that's received from descriptive is further used for predictive analytics. That's not always true. The descriptive analytics data may drive the predictive analytics data, but when we build models, we may actually use the raw data itself that was used by descriptive analytics. But the difference that separates descriptive and predictive analytics is that predictive analytics' main objective is to predict future unforeseen events. Well, how do we do that? Well, what we're doing is we're building and creating models from the past data. Let's say it's company sales data, and we're wanting to know how that's going to impact future sales, or what our future sales are going to be based on our past sales data. So we build models from that past data to predict the future and to understand the impact. And what you may end up hearing is predictor and criterion variable, or input and target variable, or input and output. And what we're trying to ascertain is what variables influence or have a relationship with this outcome variable of what we're trying to drive. So if we're trying to drive sales, we want to know what we can influence in the system, or what variables within the system itself have influenced sales. The third aspect, and the most advanced, is prescriptive analytics. And that's recommending the best course of action for a business activity. It's basically a prescriptive model. So when I was talking sales before, we may understand what variables, what inputs drove our sales. Maybe it was an advertising campaign. But with prescriptive analytics, what we want to do is optimize that, right? We want to know exactly how much to spend in different avenues of advertisement to optimize what that sales will ultimately be. Another perfect example is that, let's say you work in the airline industry and you've built a revenue management model and you have past purchase data. You could take these inputs and get a solid pricing strategy across all flights.